Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about little things you can do to help get your life back, and also what to do if anxiety strikes while you're out. Stay tuned.
I just wanna be happy,
So if any of you see my channel trailer or know me personally, you will know that I've had a horrible time in the past dealing with anxiety. And I want to go over some little things you can do, or little things I did to help get my life back. So just to give you a very brief context on what happened within my life, I got so anxious that I didn't want to leave my house, and that also spiraled into depression, and I was even too depressed to get out of bed some days. So what are little things you can do to help get your life back? Well, there are many different reasons why you have anxiety, and anxiety affects everyone differently, but depending on your situation, this can be easily applied using the same kind of logic. I'm going to use myself as an example. When I was too afraid to go outside, I would first get comfortable doing what I would do at home, whether that would be watching YouTube videos, watching TV, or playing video games. That was my comfort zone. And I knew that no matter what I was planning to help myself, I know I can get back to that comfort zone and become relaxed again. The first thing you need to know before you try to take those little steps is you gotta want it. And if you clicked on this video, that means you want to get better, you want to go outside. So now that has been established, we can start looking at things we can do to help get ourselves to where we want to be. So the way I did it was I wanted to get fitter, because I knew that if you get fitter, you get endorphins, and endorphins would help you with your mental health. But at first I was too anxious to go to a gym. So what I did was I started out by working out in my garage, which is outside the house, but close enough to the house that if I got too anxious, I can go back in. And I felt comfortable there because I guess I was still on my property, so I felt very comfortable doing that. I would start off by going to the gym and maybe only go into the parking lot that day. And if I make it to the parking lot, fine, I can stop right there, go back, and I achieved a good milestone, a good objective for that day. And then eventually it would build up to the point where I would say, okay, now we got to go into the gym. So we go into the gym, maybe only about 10-20 minutes. And then after that allotted time where you make yourself stay there, whatever time you spend extra is bonus. It's a bonus for you. And you can feel even better about yourself. I know the more bonus time I gave myself doing these uncomfortable situations, the more I felt rewarded within myself afterwards. And then eventually I just increased the time by 5 minutes every time. So start with like 20 minutes, and the next time 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes. The key is to always have an exit strategy and to want it. So what I mean by an exit strategy is always be aware of where your exits are and always know how you can get out of the situation. Obviously going to the gym by myself, if I just walk out the gym, that's fine. And that was a clear-cut one, and sometimes the exit strategy is not as clear-cut. But always know that in this life, nothing really matters that much. In the sense of, don't take that in a negative way. When I say that, I mean there is nothing in this life, no matter what it is, that is worth getting yourself that stressed and anxious about. Even when it comes to college or your job, nothing should ever make you that stressed or anxious. Nothing really truly matters at the end of the day. The only thing that really matters is your happiness. So what if you got to do something? Or what if you're having a hard time getting to that stage, getting from your house to a gym? Well, the way I do it is a step-by-step process. So first things first, I get out of bed. Right, that's only a step. So the type of thinking I'm trying to instill is your goal might be up a mountain, But there are ways, but you can't just scale up the mountain straight up. You have to take it one step at a time. And every little task that you do that can get you closer to that mountain is steps you should be taking. So getting out of bed is one step. Having breakfast, another step. Going for a shower is another step. Getting change is another step, right? And so on and so forth. And every single time you do a step, you just take a second and think, hey, that wasn't that bad. But it gets to the point where, it's time to leave. You start off by walking out the door. If you're happy, you can continue to your vehicle. If you drive, that is. If you're happy with that, you can then turn on the engine and then you can go. But always know you can turn back around. We're very blessed in this day and age where a lot of different people, a lot of different companies and colleges and schools, for instance, are far more aware of mental health. You can get a bit more empathy from these people. So always take it, just to reiterate my point, take it one step at a time. Don't think, oh no, I gotta go to work. Don't think that. Or don't think, oh no, I gotta go out to the gym. Or I gotta go to a social occasion. Don't think that far ahead. Always think, we gotta cross that bridge when we get there. So as you get in your car, as you get ready, don't even think about all that time ahead. Don't even bother. Because you're wasting precious time stressing over it, which is completely unnecessary and doesn't deserve that kind of attention that you're giving it. Another big thing I'll say is prepare to sometimes fail, sometimes fall. It happens. Have you ever heard of that saying where you take one step back to take two steps forward? That applies to this as well, because you will always have little knockbacks, little falls, but it's not about getting knocked back. It's about your willing and your fight to get up. You gotta be willing to get up. And I know if you truly want something, you'll get up. And yeah, hey, it may set you back and you may be like, okay, now I'm worried about this again. That's fine. You just go, take little steps, build yourself back up again. That's all it is. And eventually you'll crack it. I promise you. So now on to the second part of the video. What do you do if you're out and suddenly an anxiety or a panic attack happens? Okay, and I've been in situations where I handled it better than others. And then there are situations where I didn't handle it well at all. I remember last year I had a panic attack in Walmart. I felt it happening. I was quite deep into the store. I was going to buy something and suddenly it hit me. I felt really, really scared. I felt afraid. And what I did in that situation was I first caught my breath. As a yoga instructor, we always talk about prana, breathing. So when you feel your heart palpitating, just try your hardest to take deep breaths. Force your deep breaths. Inhale slowly. And say it to yourself in your mind. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And I promise you, if you keep doing that, your mind, your body cannot keep up with it. It's like when you're exercising, when you're breathing fast, your heart is beating faster. Just as when you're relaxed, like sleeping, your heart tends to beat slower because your body does not need that much blood around. And when you're anxious, it naturally makes your heart race because your mind tricks you into thinking you're in danger when you are not in danger whatsoever. And that's always important to remember. Always look around. And there's another strategy you can use. You can look around and find things that you can touch, find things you can see, find things you can smell, right? Tapping into your senses, and it grounds you. And doing this while breathing can really help. I didn't know this information at the time of the panic attack. And what I did, without knowing this information, I walked out the store. I walked to my car. I sat in my car. And then I allowed myself to completely, I almost fell apart. I put on music. I tried to calm myself down because I didn't want a panic attack in public because it doesn't look good, right? And this is coming from someone who has issues. It's very easy to say, oh no, don't worry about it, but it's always worrying. And if you can take yourself out of the situation, it's better. But sometimes you can't help it, and sometimes you have to stand your ground, and this is when these calming techniques come in. My advice as well is, if you're very anxious, always bring headphones with you. Because sometimes just plugging it in, especially because a lot of these places now have Wi-Fi and the internet, you can just find something on the internet that can calm you, meditative music, things like that. And this is one thing I saved until now. This is my favorite analogy. And I use this all the time now. This is my favorite. Okay? Think of your mind as a river that is constantly flowing. There's always water coming in. And it's always harmony. But sometimes you get logs, animals, fallen debris, and it disrupts the flow of your river. You can see these things coming past. And what you can remember is that even though it looks ugly now and the river looks ugly and it doesn't look right, it will pass. And same with your mind. When you have these anxious thoughts that causes the anxiety feelings, it will pass. Just like the thing in the river that's flowing. It is impossible for your body to maintain anxiety forever. It cannot do that. It doesn't work like that. And sometimes if you just let go of things that you cannot control and substitute it for things you can control, i.e., you can always control your breath. And music can help as well. Listening to soft sensational music can really help as well. Slow everything back down. But what happens when you're with your friends and that happens? Well, if you have friends that understand your situation, you can be honest with them, and normally they can help you out. A lot of your friends, well, I would hope a lot of your friends really care about you. And especially if they're very close friends and they understand your situation. It's always good to have someone that can understand your situation, because they will know how they can help you. And they will help you, and they will be very good at helping you and show you empathy. And say your friends don't really understand your situation, because I understand it's difficult to talk about tough things with friends, especially when they're relatively new friends and they're not your best friends. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to talk about those things. So you can excuse yourself. Maybe you can go to the bathroom and recompose yourself, normally taking yourself out of a social situation, particularly if anxiety is derived from social anxiety. Sometimes taking yourself out of the situation is okay for a few minutes outside or the toilet, just so you can calm yourself, regain your composure. But if it's too much, never be afraid to leave. You got your exit strategy, right? As I said earlier on in the video, an exit strategy is always useful, and it can give you comfort because you know that you can leave. Sometimes you like to ride out the anxiety, and sometimes you don't want to go through sometimes you just don't want to ride it out. Sometimes you just want to go, and you can always have that option to leave. And your friends will understand. If they were truly your friends, they would always understand. What happens if anxiety strikes in work or college? Well, speaking from a personal experience, at college, my professors knew about it. I took my professors to the side, the ones I could trust the most, and I told them what's going on with me. Because, well, it was quite noticeable because they were my professor for a few years. They'd seen how I used to be relatively fit, became super skinny, and I had a haunted look. And I said, hey, I get really anxious, and me just getting here, me just being here was so difficult. Most professors, if not all of them, will be accommodating to you. What my professor said is, okay, if you need to sit by the door, you can sit by the door. If you need to leave class for whatever reason, I will never question you. If you need to go home and you go home, I will not question you. She offered me that. And she gave me ways to be comfortable. And she said I can go out for a walk, I can do anything, I can leave. And that was really good. I'm very thankful to that professor, because that really helped me stick to my guns and stick to college and get my degree. Without that ear, that wouldn't have helped me. And when I moved on to a different university, the same university but a different campus, to complete my final year, I felt so much better by that point. What about work? Employers should know your situation. You should always talk to your employers about it. Talk to the human resources department. Make sure they understand, because if they understand, they'll be more accommodating to you, especially in this day and age when people are a lot more protected, particularly people who are more stressed. And they will try and accommodate you because they want you there. And they'll do whatever they can to make you comfortable while you are there. And if the job ever gets too much and it's too stressful, don't be afraid to walk away. There will be other jobs, there'll be better jobs out there for you. You shouldn't necessarily ever leave a job unless you got something lined up. But if it's taking its toll on your health, you got to put your health first. Then finally, I'm going to stress this. If your mental health is that bad and it's really awful, consider getting yourself counseling. Go to therapy. I've had different types of therapy. My favorite type was cognitive behavioral therapy. I know in the UK, you could get onto a mental health list. It's not the best, but it's something. And in America, call your insurance company, see if they cover psychological treatment. My insurance company in America covered 80% of my psychology treatment. All I have to do is pay copay. You have these resources, and if you have health insurance and you have the NHS in the UK, please take advantage and try and get help where you can. And I know if you're on the NHS in the UK, get on that list as soon as possible because the wait list is massive. There is not enough funding for mental health care there. If it's really that bad, please consider just paying privately because a mental health session, well, for me, it only cost me about £30 a session, which for psychological care is not expensive. Especially in America, that without insurance, you're paying upwards of $180, $200 a session, which is equivalent to about £160. So it's a lot cheaper in the UK. So anyway, that's all I got for you today. If you found this useful, please be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share with someone who you know is going through a tough time mentally, and hopefully it will help you. Check out my channel trailer to see what was going on there. I give a very brief insight to my story. If you need to just talk to me about anything, comment down below. My DMs are always open via Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or you can even chat to me on Discord. I have a Discord server. All the links will be in the description down below as well. Also, make sure to check out my free yoga streams every Monday, Friday at 11 a.m. California time. PDT, I believe that is. I hope you enjoyed my video. And until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Can't be waiting for you in the morning. I'ma leave without giving a warning. I'ma leave without giving a. But every time we say goodbye, we all know that it's a lie. Now I'm all alone, 'cause you never